This is the pound Aussie on the 15 and I'm involved in a trend continuation trade using a double bottom. Now I have just spoken about something very similar when I've just done the quick hit review video, but now the market is opened and it's gapped. It's actually provided a better looking double bottom. So let's do the high time frame analysis so that we can talk through this potential setup. Structure level on at our highs. We did hold this structure level up here. Since then we have been working our way lower and we are now currently within the wicks just here. And this candle right here is a higher high, higher close. And I do believe price can come into this structure level just here. Paying close attention to, if I put a structure level on, the very lows, which come into the 18300 as a minimum for a retest. We could go even higher here. Let's go to the 240. Here in the 240 I had a couple of options here last week to get involved, looking at this as a potential double bottom. I was then looking at getting involved with a 2618, and as you can see what we did is we actually came down to tap the 61.8. This candle here actually violated the B point, so it did make it a valid 2618 opportunity. And what we've done since then is we had that move higher, which violated structure, a pullback, another move which violated structure, and then a pullback. Where have we pulled back into? Well, if we highlight the wicks and then drop down the time frames, we've pulled straight back down into our structure level. In the quick hit video I did say look at what we have here. We've got tweezer bottoms. This is a lovely area to get long because of all this buying pressure, and what actually happened is the market gapped open down here. Now as I drop down to the 15, then this is what I was initially looking at, this double bottom here with the RSI confirmation. However, it wasn't quite good enough, but look what has now happened. We have actually now come down for another double bottom and we've held our structure level. And this structure level actually runs from the wicks to there, so anywhere within this zone. And we have test, 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 two more tests just here, another one there and here as well. So a good area here to look for that double bottom. Now what it means is that we can get relatively tight stops underneath the lows just here, and targets, well, they're going to be as a minimum that structure level that I spoke about, which is this one just here. If we throw in a fib, we could potentially come up significantly higher. Actually, we could actually come up to around the midpoint. We could come up to 38.2 here, which would be, well, that would be 228 pips. That would be a big move. I'm actually just playing for a one in, one out here, so I'm actually only going to play for the retest of the very low of the structure level, and again that 8300 psychological number. So if we bring back on the orders here, then we have and that number, by the way, I'm actually front running by 5 pips. So I actually have here, in terms of risk, my stop is just an ATR below the low, 42 for 105. We're back for an update on this trade. I thought I would just jump on because I got involved with this trade last night, obviously, and it's not very often the market gaps in my favor, but it obviously did. The double bottom has now paid off. We've had the violation to the upside and we are actually up at these structure highs just here, still moving higher, currently 76 pips up. So you know, we've got the move we were looking for. Now that I'm at structure highs, I'm going to go ahead here and roll a couple of pips past break even. I'm just going to roll out here to the 60 and take a look at this. Still expecting the market to go higher, still expecting here price to come up and test that 18300 psychological number. And we obviously haven't hit yet, but I've been talking about this opportunity for quite some time and simply just waiting for a trading opportunity. And I actually spoke in I did a quick hit video on Sunday evening. I can't remember if I talked about it in when I did this first part of the video about this being a double bottom that was valid. But then the market actually gapped down and gave me an entry. Now what I did have to do is I did have to pay a lot more in fees, even though I waited an hour to gain my entry, but I still had a 2-to-1 reward to risk, so it was worth it. Now I do believe actually we can go significantly higher here. This would have been one to play for 2 targets, but this I'm just playing for a 1 in 1 out, and we'll see if we can get those 105 pips. It would be lovely if we can do. We're back for the update, and this is a bit of a sickener if I'm completely honest with you. Got 85 pips up. What can I say? You could quite easily have gone for 2 targets, one here, move to break even, and then play for second targets. Personally, because my overall bias here is still long, and I believe there's several hundred pips available up for grabs here. This was a 1 in 1 out, but 85 pips up on that trade, and I rolled to break even when we retested the high. So damn sickener, because that would have gained back around 65 to 70% of the losses that I incurred last week, and I'm out for break even.